welcome to Teacher Amelia's class. Today, let's learn Grade 3 English and then let's talk about your daily activities. So are you ready? Let's start! Okay, so look at the picture. What is he doing? He wakes up, right? So he's saying, I wake up, I get up at 6, okay? And then we can add some words like usually. So I usually get up at 6, okay? အဲ့တော့ပုံထဲမှာဆိုရင်ဒီမှာကောင်လေးကဘယ်ချိန်အိပ်ရာထ6နာရီ6 okay အဲ့တော့6နာရီအမြဲတမ်းထလားအမြဲတမ်းတော့မဟုတ်ဘူး no always မဟုတ်ဘူး usually so you can say like I usually get up at 6 can you say that I usually get up at 6 wow very good okay so again I usually get up at 6. Wow, very good guys. Okay, can you say that one more time? I usually get up at 6. Okay, so let's try to memorize. Okay, so I get up at 6. Okay, so I get up at 6 usually so I usually get up at 6 can you say that I usually get up at 6 very good okay let's do it one more time I usually get up at 6 very good guys wow you guys are so great can you say that one more time I usually get up at 6 okay so as for me for teacher I usually get up at 8 not 6 okay I usually get up at 8 8 in the morning so what about you guys what about you Yes, you can replace the time, okay, with your own get up time. Okay, အဲ့တော့ကလေးတို့ကကိုတကယ်အိပ်ရာထားတဲ့အချိန်ကိုအစားထိုးပြီးတော့ပြောလို့ရတယ် Okay, so for example, I usually get up at 5 or maybe 7, right? Okay, so as for me, I usually get up at 7, maybe 8. Okay, so let's practice again. I usually get up at 6 okay very good okay so now you know how to talk about the time okay and the activity right okay very good okay so another activity I have a bed okay ရေချိုးတယ် 1 at 6:15 oh I have a bath at 6:15 အဲ့တော့ရေကိုဘယ်လိုမျိုးချိုးတာလဲเนาะ adversarial frequency အရဆိုရင်တော့ often okay often ချိုးရဲ so I often have a bath at 6:15 okay so what about you guys can you say that I often have a bath at 6:15 very good okay can you say that one more time I okay often have a bath at 6:15 okay as for teacher I often have a bath at 9 or maybe 9:30 what about you guys what about you okay so Yes, you can say your own bedtime, okay? Okay, and then practice with this sentence again, okay? So, I often have a bath at 6:15. Okay, can you say that one more time? I often have a bath at 6:15. Very good. Okay, so let's talk about your breakfast. Okay, so I have breakfast, right? I have breakfast when? At 7:30. So, I have breakfast when? At 7:30. Okay, so let's add a verse of frequency, right? I usually have breakfast at 7:30. I usually have breakfast at 7:30. And then you can use like always, often, sometimes, right? You got it, right? Okay, so as for me, I always have breakfast at 10. Okay, so what about you guys? Okay, when do you have your breakfast? Like at 7:30, at 8:30, at 8, at 8:15, right? Okay, so let's practice one more time. I usually have breakfast at 7:30, right? As for him, it's 7:30, but you can use your own breakfast time, okay? Okay, very good. So let's talk about one more time. I usually have breakfast at 7:30. Okay, so now let's look at another one. I go to school. Okay, so the main sentence is I go to school. Okay, so when? At 8:25. Okay, so I go to school at 8:25. And then let's add a verse of frequency. Always. Okay, so I always go to school at 8:25. Okay, can you say that? I always go to school at 8:25. Very good. Can you say that one more time? I always go to school at 8:25. Okay, so I always go to school at 8:30, right? I always go to school at maybe 8. Okay, so let's practice again. I always go to school at 8:25. Okay, you can say at 8:35, 8:35, 8:45, 8:50. Okay? Okay, so this time, let's go home. I go home. Okay, so the main sentence is I go home. I go home at 3:45. I go home at 3:45. And then let's add some frequency. Okay, so I usually go home at 3:45. I usually go home at 3:45. Okay, so maybe as for me, I usually go home at 4. What about you guys? I usually go home at 4:30, maybe 4:30, and maybe 5, right? You can replace the time with the real time. Okay, so I usually go home at 4. I usually go home at 4:30. Alright? Okay, let's practice one more time. I usually go home at 3:45. I usually go home at 3:45. Okay, you got this. Okay, so let's look at another picture. I often do the housework. Wow, very clever boy. Okay, so I do the housework 1 at 4:30. Okay, so I do the housework at 4:30. So the main sentence is I do the housework. Okay, so helping mommy, helping daddy, right? Okay, so main sentence I do the housework. And then 1 at 4:30. Okay, so the whole sentence I often do the housework at 4:30. Is that easy? Okay, အဲ့ဒီချေတို့က speaking practice လုပ်တဲ့နေရာမှာအဓိက main sentence ကိုအရင်ဆုံးပြောလို့ရတယ်အရင်ဆုံးမှတ်လို့ရတယ် Okay, so for this picture the main sentence is I do the housework. Okay, I do the housework ကအဓိက sentence and then ဘယ်ချိန်မှာလဲဆိုရင် at 4:30 right အဲ့လိုမျိုးတစ်ပိုင်းချင်းစီခွဲပြီးပြောလို့မရဘူးလားပြောလို့ရတယ်ပြီးတော့ရင်တော့အကျဉ်းအရေးတက်ကိုပြရတယ် frequency လေးကိုထည့်မယ် often. Okay, so I often do the housework 1 at 4:30. You got this, right? Okay, so let's practice again. I often do the housework at 4:30, right? Okay, အဲ့ 4:30, 5:30 အဲ့အချိန်နေရာမှာလဲကလေးတို့ကြိုက်တဲ့အချိန်ကလေးတို့တကယ်လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်ကိုထည့်ပြီးတော့ပြောလို့ရတယ် Okay, so I often do the housework at 5:30 or maybe I always do the housework at 6, right? Okay, very good. So another picture. Okay, so in this picture the main sentence is I study my lessons. Okay, I study my lessons. I study my lessons. So 1 at 7:30. So I study my lessons at 7:30. I study my lessons at 7:30 and then the frequency usually. So I usually study my lessons at 7:30. I usually study my lessons at 7:30. So you can say like I always study my lessons at 8, right? Okay, အဲ့တော့ခြေတို့က main sentence ကိုအရင်ပြောမယ်အရင်မှတ်မယ် I study my lessons and then 1 ဘယ်ချိန်မှာလဲ at 7:30 at 7:30 at 8:30 at 8 okay အဲ့ဒါကခြေတို့ကြိုက်တဲ့လောက်နော်ကိုတည့်ရဲ့စကားလုံးကိုရဲ့အမှန်တကယ်စကားလုံးတွေတို့အစားထိုးပြီးတော့ပြောလို့ရတယ် and then I usually okay frequency လေးဘယ်နှကြိမ်လောက်တာလဲဆိုတာကိုခြေထည့်ပြောလိုက်မယ်အဲ့ဆိုရင် I usually study my lessons at 7:30 okay so repeat after me I usually study my lessons at 7:30 Okay, you got this, right? Okay, so another one. Okay, the main sentence. I watch TV. Okay, I watch TV and then 1 at 8:30. I watch TV at 8:30. ဒါပေမဲ့သူကအချိန်ရအတွက်ကိုပြမယ်ဆိုရင်အမြဲတမ်းကြည့်တာလားမဟုတ်ဘူးတစ်ခါတည်းရမှကြည့်တယ် sometimes okay အဲ့တစ်ခါတည်းရမှကြည့်ရဆိုရင်တို့က frequency လေးကိုထည့်လိုက်မယ် sometimes so I sometimes watch TV at 8:30 maybe like I sometimes watch YouTube at 8:30 right အဲ့လိုလေးတွေအစားထိုးပြောလို့မရဘူးလားဟုတ်တယ်ပြောလို့ရတယ် okay so in this sentence I sometimes watch TV at 8:30. Very good. Okay, so can you say that one more time? I sometimes watch TV at 8:30. Okay, I sometimes watch TV at 8:30. I sometimes watch cartoon at 8:30. ပြောလို့ရအောင်လားပြောလို့ရတယ်ဟုတ်ပြီ I sometimes watch YouTube at 9, right? Okay အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော် sentence တစ်ခုသိရနဲ့အစားထိုးထိုးပြီးတော့ပြောရလို့ရတယ်ဟုတ်ပြီနော် Okay so main sentence I go to bed I go to bed when at 9 okay at 9 and then ဘယ်နှခါလဲဘယ်ချိန်လဲ frequency usually so I usually go to bed at 9ပုံမှန်ကတော့ခြေတော့9နာရီအရာဝင်တယ် okay so I usually go to bed at 9 okay Dana okay so I usually go to bed at 9 okay so let's practice one more time I usually go to bed at 9 very good okay I usually go to bed at 9 okay maybe at 9 at 10 okay so you can replace the time you got it right okay very good so let's do some exercise okay so we have pictures and then we have the time okay pictures and the time so we gotta match the picture with the time and then we have to make a sentence okay ကျွန်တော်အပေါ်ကပုံလေးတွေနဲ့အောက်ကအချိန်လေးတွေကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့ဆက်ရမယ်ဆက်ပြီးသွားပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင် sentence တစ်ခုဖြစ်အောင်တည်ဆောက်ရမယ် okay are you ready okay so the first picture is go home okay so go home အဲ့တော့အိမ်ကိုပြန်နေဘယ်ချိန်မှဖြစ်မလဲ 6:30 in the evening ည6နာရီခွဲလားညနေ6နာရီခွဲလား 8:45 in the morning မနက်7နာရီလား7နာရီ45လားဒါမှမဟုတ် 3:30 in the afternoon very good 3:30 in the afternoon so I go home right I go home at 3:30 in the afternoon okay right ဒီချက်တော့အဆိုရင်ဒီလိုမျိုး sentence တွေတည်ဆောက်လို့မရဘူးလားတည်ဆောက်လို့ရတယ်ဟုတ်ပြီချက်တော့ပြန်ပြောကြည့်ရအောင် I go home at 3:30 in the afternoon can you say that I go home at 3:30 in the afternoon very good okay အချိန်ကိုပြောမယ်ဆိုရင် at နဲ့ပြောမယ်ညနေပိုင်းမနက်ပိုင်းဟုတ်ပြီเนาะညပိုင်းကိုပြောချင် in the morning in the evening in the afternoon နဲ့ပြောလို့ရတယ် okay so another one okay so this time go to school and then when 8:40 in the morning so let's make sentence I go to school at 8:45 in the morning. I go to school at 8:45 in the morning. Can you say that? I go to school at 8:45 in the morning. Very good. အဲ့ဒါ 8 to 9တို့အချိန်တွေကိုခဏလေးနဲ့ပြောမယ်ဆိုရင်ရှေ့ကနေ at ဆိုပြီးထည့်ပေးရမှာ okay အဲ့ဒါပြန်ပြောကြည့်ရအောင် I go to school at 8:45 in the morning very good okay so do the housework okay so when do the housework when I do the housework at 6:30 in the evening very good I do the housework at when? At 6:30 in the evening. Okay, very good. Again, I do the housework at 6:30 in the evening. Very good. Okay, so in this lesson, you gotta practice the time. Okay. around 0ဒီ lesson မှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အချိန်လေးတွေနဲ့ activity လေးတွေကိုတွဲပြီးပြောတာကိုကျွန်တော်လေ့ကျင့်နေအဲ့တော့အချိန်ကိုပြောချင်နေဆိုရင်ရှေ့ကနေ at လေးကိုထည့်ပြီးပြောမယ် okay so I go to school at 8:30 I go home at 3:30 right အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်က at လေးနဲ့ထည့်ပြီးတော့ပြောမယ်။ဒါမှမဟုတ်မနက်ပိုင်းနေ့လယ်ပိုင်းညပိုင်းလို့ပြောချင်ရင် in the morning in the afternoon in the evening ကိုထည့်ပြီးတော့ပြောမယ်။ပြီးတော့ရင်ဘယ်လောက်လောက်တာလဲအမြဲတမ်းလောက်တာလားခဏခဏလောက်တာလားတစ်ခါတည်းမှလောက်တာလားအဲ့လိုမျိုးလေးတွေကိုပြောချင်နေဆိုရင် always usually sometimes often အစရှိတဲ့ adversary frequency လေးတွေကိုထည့်ပြီးတော့ပြောလို့ရတယ်။ရလားမမီလား Okay, so practice your sentences. Okay, so there are so many sentences in the text book, so you gotta practice. Okay, so see you. Bye bye.